everybody. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live at Shero Commerce. I am the CEO and co-founder, and we are your e-commerce experts. I'm joined here by BigCommerce and Stamped. Welcome, Ian and Evan, to our LinkedIn Live, and we'll be talking about holiday prep. We are finally in November. Hard to believe. What a year, right? We are excited to give you some tips, some final tips before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, get you all started. I know we talked about getting ready for the holidays a couple weeks ago, but I thought it would be helpful for you to learn from some experts outside of Shero from BigCommerce and Stamped. So let's start with some intros. Evan, you're from BigCommerce. Why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and what BigCommerce offers and get us started today?
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here and talk about some holiday technology trends. My name's Evan Smith. I've been with BigCommerce for 11 years, so a really long time. I've been in e-commerce for about 16 years. So been looking at it for a very long time, and we're excited to kind of share some interesting technology trends we're seeing ahead of the holiday seasons. And I get the lucky ability to kind of see across a broad net, thousands of merchants and what they're doing, what they're not doing, and what's working. And so hopefully I can provide some good insights on things you can consider.
Awesome. Thanks, Evan. And we love partnering with BigCommerce. You offer a great SaaS e-commerce platform for anybody new to the party here. And then we have Ian from Stamped.
Hey everyone, thanks Beth. So my name's Ian. I'm a tech partner manager at Stamped. I've been with them for a couple of weeks, so pretty new, but I've been working in tech and with tech companies for the past 7 years, mostly in partnerships. And for those who don't know Stamp, we empower over 75,000 brands to drive faster, more efficient growth through reviews and loyalty. So happy to share the tips with observed working with them.
Awesome. And you integrate well with BigCommerce, great e-commerce platform, of course, right? Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for joining us. We are also going to be doing an event soon together on November 14th. We'll be at a basketball game, so I hope we have some basketball fans out there. It's going to be the Hornets versus Miami Heat. And we're going to have a panel, and you two will be speaking there along with our digital marketing expert, Ashley Gates. So we're excited to be joining you there and talking more about this topic. This is just kind of a little teaser, right? And also talking about trends for next year. Are you guys basketball fans? Are you excited about the event?
I'm super excited about the events because I'm going to learn as much about basketball as I can share about e-commerce. So it's going to be a both-way kind of situation.
Yeah, I might be a little different. I'm a huge basketball fan. I played basketball growing up in high school, all that stuff. And I'm in Austin, Texas, so I'm a Spurs fan. But yeah, I'm excited about basketball. So
awesome. Well, it's great to hear that, and we're excited to be doing that event with you all. And learning more, obviously, from that event. So I know we're talking about holiday prep, and you do have some tips to share with our members that are joining here today. Evan, would you like to start with talking about your first tip, getting ready for the holidays?
Sure, happy to. So my first tip is considering AI tools. I think everybody's been hearing about AI for a while now. It's still relatively new to e-commerce, but there's a lot going on. And I think ahead of the holiday season, it's worth considering what's out there and what's worth taking advantage of. Even if you don't want to implement certain things ahead of the holiday seasons going into next year, I think it's super important to start considering. And interesting enough, BigCommerce just released last week something called Big AI Copywriter. And so it's a free app in our marketplace that BigCommerce actually built. And it's kind of aligned to a lot of AI initiatives that we're working on. So there's going to be a lot of AI stuff coming for BigCommerce soon, which is exciting. But the copywriter is, it essentially optimizes your product descriptions for SEO. You can put your brand voice and tone and all of that stuff in there. And then we have interesting stuff coming around promotions, product recommendations, quoting, a bunch of other AI stuff. And so that's not the only one. I would just, and I don't want to give away all the secrets, but in the talk, I'll go a little deeper on, on other things to consider out there. But I just want to, plant that in seeing people's heads to start looking at those type of tooling. Some of them are really quick and easy to implement, and they're not going to mess things up ahead of holiday season. So something to consider for sure.
Yeah, we're all about AI here at Shero, and it can definitely make your life easier if you know how to use it properly. So that's awesome that BigCommerce has added that solution onto the platform so that people can easily use it. They're using it anyway, so having it where they're working every day is a no-brainer. That's great to hear. Okay, cool. What about tip number 2? What else you got?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about user experience and personalization optimization, and that's a bunch of buzzwords, but I think I assume a lot of retailers and brands are already thinking about this holiday season, and I could probably talk an hour about this, but I think I'll give one interesting tip now, is that if your industry and product category aligns to this, so I want to be careful, it might not make sense for everybody, but I do think it makes sense for a lot of industries, is that, if you're doing a gift collection in your category structure or gifting options, things like that, it's super, I think one kind of trick that I've seen boost conversion quite a bit is in your product filtering. So, in that category, if you have filtering on the side to kind of filter out what's in that gift collection, make sure to have an age filter. I found that I've started to see people that are implementing that, their conversions going way up because people are quickly, looking and trying to say, is this right for my niece or nephew or whoever, right? And so they can quickly say, okay, that's like, and they're not, sometimes you're not sure, like, is this right for this age or that type of thing. And so we've seen that kind of this conversion. And so, and there's a lot of other things, but I think that's a good tip to share right now.
Yeah, I would use that definitely. Whenever I'm buying a gift, I'm like, who knows what they want? It's hard to narrow it down, right? And age is obviously the simplest thing. And then if you're in the right category of, depending on what the person likes. So that helps a lot. Very cool. And I know you have a third tip. What do you got for us?
Yeah, third tip is checkout optimization. And so again, a lot can be done here. And I'm sure a lot of people are, thinking about how checkout can be easy, quick, performance is up. A couple of things I would mention is just making sure that's obviously optimized. If it's one page, as minimal steps as you can do. Making sure to have the ability enabled to have saved credit cards and saved addresses for returning customers, guest checkout turned on and the ability for them to do some of that there. And then I think on the checkout, if you have various payment options, so maybe you're doing buy now, pay later, there's a bunch of different things you can do out there, and make sure to have those towards the top of your checkout flow. So people, maybe it's a high ticket item and they might be considering it, make sure they know that there's different options, and that should help increase conversion as well. So I think those are a few things just to consider as you're looking at checkout conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've used Affirm, Klarna for payment options. Anything that makes it easier for your customer to check out, obviously, is a no-brainer. And in BigCommerce, it's so easy to integrate those solutions and different payment options. And it's, as long as you have it set up, you can have it up and running in like a day, is what I've seen. So quick.
Super quick. Some of these things are super quick to do. So I think that's
great. Don't feel like what I'm saying, just to add to your point, is don't feel intimidated. Like, oh my God, Black Friday's tomorrow. Thank goodness we have a little bit of time to test it out and make sure you're up and running properly. But you still have time to implement these changes that you're recommending, which is great. Very cool. Thank you for sharing those. And next, we have Ian from Stamped. What's your first tip for the holiday season?
So the first tip is not going to be about AI, even though I'm super excited about the one Evan shared, especially as a partner. It's going to be about how you can leverage your best UGC on your product detail page to boost conversion. So by UGC, I mean user-generated content. So any content that's not generated by a brand, but generated by one of your users. It could be a picture, a video, literally anything as long as it's organically generated by a user. The reason why it's important, I think it's important to emphasize that, is that it conveys authenticity. It helps increase trust. And a lot of customers today are kind of skeptical about claims from brands. So that really conveys, again, that authenticity and brings more trust. And in terms of numbers, I think our customers are twice as likely to consider UGCs authentic compared to brand content. And they're twice as likely to convert as well when they interact with those. And to give you a quick example of how you can leverage those, for example, Linger, which is one of our customers in the jewelry space, they feature the best reviews directly on their homepage. We have also customers that leverage hashtags where they can reshare customers' posts, create shoppable galleries, or those kind of things. And you can leverage those UGCs everywhere on email marketing campaigns, for example. And that's, again, just a couple of tips on how you can increase conversion again.
Awesome. I love that. And I think, especially during the holiday season, you might be purchasing items that you normally wouldn't because a lot of them are going to be gifts, right? So the more that people generate that content, build that trust and credibility, it just makes it that much easier to convert, right? So
exactly. And you're going to be able to leverage that content after the holiday season as well, which is kind of a flywheel.
Awesome. And I'm just assuming, so let me know, it makes it so easy with Stamped integrated with BigCommerce. Is that correct, Ian? What's the process that you started with Stamped? Is it like a day process? You sign up and you can get up and running, or what does that look like? Just out of curiosity.
Super quick as well. We have a great onboarding team. So yeah, pretty similar to what Evan shared before.
Awesome. Okay, cool. What about your tip number 2?
Sure. So it's literally leveraging your audience. This holiday season for loyalty and loyalty programs. The reason why this is important is pretty straightforward, but happy to share a couple of numbers around that. Just to give you an idea in terms of how many loyalty programs customers are a part of, it's around 14. The number is not exact. It's around 14 loyalty program. So they're super useful to increase customer retention, drive new business, boost sales, increase AOV, and I'm again using alphabet soup, but average order value and customer lifetime value. So it's appealing to existing customers, and the reason why it's super important is customer acquisition costs are so high right now, and it's really hard to acquire those new customers. So focusing on those existing customers through a loyalty program is, if not as important, maybe more important than trying to acquire new ones. And repeat customers are 4 times as likely to make a purchase. So again, this is more of the why this is important. In terms of a how and how you can do it, a great example is one of our customers, Lilac Street. I'm not really part of the target for now. They do eyelash extensions, but they're
one extension in?
Yeah, no, but you never know. And cruelty free, this is an amazing brand. And they found that their average order value for when they use a referral code, because they do 20% per referral for both the referee and the referrer, is 47% higher than a normal one. So people actually spend up more with that discount. And there are a couple of questions that you can ask yourselves when you're setting up a loyalty program to be sure that it is tailored to your audience. So are your customers using their points? Are they moving up tiers? Are those referral codes literally being used? And if you answer no to some of those questions, it might mean that your loyalty program is not offering the right incentives to your customers to engage more with your brands. So a couple of things that you could do is, for example, sending out a survey. And also probably you want to have more qualitative interviews with top customers, or maybe customers whose habits have changed. Let's say they were part of your VIP program, but they've stopped using it, or top customers who are spending a lot but not leveraging that program. So that those could be good places to start to see whether your program is missing the mark.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it might feel a bit daunting starting, right? So those are some good tips to think about, surveys and really listening to your clients. I mean,
The value is worth the effort.
yeah, exactly. And the example you gave is great because when you do extensions for your eyelashes, that's something once you do it, I've heard, I haven't done them myself actually, but I admire the people that do. You look so good, you feel so good, you want it done all the time. So it is something that you want to keep up with. So having that loyalty program around a product that people use often is really great to build that. Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing that information. And you have a third tip for us today.
One last tip. Yeah, it's maximizing your post BFCM review strategy and making sure that your reviews are going out in a timely manner and the content you deliver is optimized so that you can collect as many reviews as possible. So we've touched a bit about why reviews are important. Again, repeat customers are key, and they help acquire more customers as well. So for example, we have 72% of customers won't take any buying actions before they've read reviews. And I think we can all relate to that as customers. We do the same thing with restaurants, same thing with whenever we get a ride on Uber or Lyft. So they drive sales, engagement, conversion, and we've already shared that they're twice as likely to convert that those who don't. So how can you make sure that your timing is the best to get more reviews? One of the things, it might be straightforward again and common sense, but super important is really the timing. You want to make sure that you ask for a review either for an email or SMS or directly on purchase whenever that makes the most sense for a customer. So for example, maybe not asking for a review a couple of days after when you know that the customer has not received their order yet, especially during holiday season where you can experience delays. Another way to help with that is simply to offer incentives as well, such as coupons in exchange for reviews. And I would not worry too much about negative reviews because they bring a lot of value in understanding your brand tailoring and message again, and knowing how to position it better. So engaging with potential negative reviews can be super important as well. So just incentivizing reviews in general. Yeah, that will be it.
Just to add to that, any review is helpful, and the way you respond shows a lot about your brand, right? So
exactly,
if you do get a negative review, you have that upper hand to take the next step to reach out to them, understand and resolve the issue, maybe give them something in return, send them a new product, whatever it might be. I've always seen that you can actually turn that negative review into a loyal customer. And, it's just really helpful to have that information. And the other thing that kind of stands out to me during the holiday season is having those reviews show on your ads that you're putting out there, or having the reviews show like on your Google listing and things like that, which I believe Stamped offers that option as well.
Yes.
So that you can build that trust before they're even clicking on your website. It's super helpful, and people love to hear what other people have to say about products before they purchase. So just adding that, building those conversions, and it's great that you guys offer all those solutions. So thanks for sharing those tips. What about you? Do you guys prefer to shop online during the holidays, or do you go in the store? What's your preference?
Oh, as customers?
Yeah.
I can share my preferences. So yeah, the more direct, the better. So if I don't have to shop online, to shop in person, that's better for me just because I save time. But
Yeah,
that's very personal, and returns are generally easy. So yeah.
Yeah,
I
I would
go
tend to
ahead.
agree for sure. I think, yeah, I do a lot of online shopping. I mean, I'm a little biased. I've been in e-commerce a long time. My wife likes online shopping, but I will say sometimes it is nice for certain types of items to go in the store, depending what it is,
Right.
kind of get a look and feel for it. So I think, and a lot of times we'll go into stores and look at stuff and then still buy it online anyway. So
Same.
that happens as well.
Awesome. I see we have a couple of people that joined in here, and someone shared the article about Lilac ST that Ian was talking about with the reviews. And welcome everybody that joined today. I really appreciate all your participation. Ian and Evan, anything else that you want to share before we close out today?
No, that's it for now for me. Happy to catch up with some of you, hopefully in Charlotte, for those who are going to the event. And no, great chatting with you all.
Yeah, I would just say the same. I'm looking forward to
Hey guys,
Charlotte, and I
Oh,
hope that.
sorry. Oh, we got.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead. We have
Sorry,
some
go ahead,
questions that I
Evan.
wanted to make sure we didn't miss, but didn't mean to cut
Oh,
you off,
okay.
Evan. Go ahead.
No worries, no worries. I'm looking forward to Charlotte. Hopefully, I get to talk, more one-on-one with people, and I'm happy to go much deeper on a few of the categories I mentioned. So hopefully, I can provide some value for somebody that's looking for it in regard to those categories. So excited about it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm super excited to get to talk with both of you more and kind of find out more about what you guys can help with and everything. Since I do marketing stuff, I feel like I use both of those a lot. So I'm super excited to get to like sit down and pick your guys' brains on some things. But we did have some people come in and ask some questions, so I wanted to make sure and hit on those. Um, for the first one's for BigCommerce. Can you expand on how to put age restrictions on? I know how to do that in ads, but not as familiar in doing it with this on the site itself.
Yeah, I'll speak to how it's done in BigCommerce, but it's also similar, I think, in other e-commerce platforms. So in BigCommerce, I wouldn't call it an age restriction. It's not like gating somebody from being able to buy it at a certain age. You can do that, for certain adult products or things like that. You can have an age restriction or opt-in. But what I was referring to was more in terms of just user experience of people being able to find things that are maybe the right age or age appropriate. And how you do that is we have a feature in our platform called product facet search or product filtering. You can call it a couple different things, but essentially when you look at sites and you see on the side, if you go to Nike.com or something, and there's check boxes there that you can filter by brand, you can filter by anything you want with BigCommerce, and you can add as many as you want. One I was suggesting is specifically for if you have a gift collection or a gift category that you want to promote certain products as gifts. You can enable that filter that says that shows by age, so you can do different age ranges. You could do above a certain age, however you want to set it up. But essentially, it's just in the back end you set up those age filters, and so that way people can click and say, oh, this is these type of products are for 10 and under, or this would be great for a teenager. And I think a lot of people appreciate gauging if this is going to be good for a teenager or something like that. And so that's how you do it. It's just a setting in the back end of BigCommerce.
Cool. Okay, so the next one I think is for Ian. It says, what incentives do you see have the most success with what loyalty programs?
I think it really depends. What really matters is, again, and yeah, it's really tough to answer that, and because it's going to depend on the brand, and again, that's why it's so key to really know your customers. And the more tailored it is to them, the more important it's going to be. So more of an anecdote, but for example, a lot of programs are kind of those cookie cutter ones where you see like those regular tiers that are bronze, silver, and gold. We see a lot of brands with successful programs having more personalized tiers, for example, with names that reflect their brands, and and customer being referred to as ambassadors as well. So even the wording is important. That is an example to say that really knowing your audience and adapting to your audience rather than trying to do the opposite will go a long way, which is why I was emphasizing interviewing those customers. So again, two main ways to do it. Either you do something that's mostly qualitative to try and segment your population, get as much data as you can, or, and that's not a either or, I think you should do both. You spend more one-on-one time with some top customers to really understand what's valuable for them and replicate that with the rest of your customer population.
Awesome. Yeah, I do a lot of email for our clients, and I was actually just having a conversation with one of ours yesterday, just trying to get them to send more targeted emails to their top customers and explaining that people like to be called our VIP customers or our they just feel special, just kind of like, I'm glad that you said that about, even just telling them that they are ambassadors or something just makes them feel special and more loyal to your brands overall. So that's
100%
really,
wording is super important.
yeah, that's good. Okay, I think there was one more. Let me find it here. Okay. Do you think reviews are more valuable to be on your product page on your website directly, or Google reviews / social reviews? So like on,
Both. It's gonna, and we can help with both, and it's gonna help with SEO as well, and make sure that you rank higher, and again, bring in that trust and authenticity to more places. So you should do both.
So this is just my question, when you have, your request for reviews go out, do you usually then direct them to the product to review right there, or do you have two separate links? Like, what's the best practice for that as far as sending them to the page to review or sending them to Google? And I guess, how would you recommend getting reviews on both places?
Oh, they can get reviews on both places directly from Stamped.
Okay,
So
so if
they just
they
they just review from Stamped, and it's gonna be showcased both places.
on both places. What about on like social on Facebook? If that's a big.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I let me share a link in the, or yeah, I can share a link in the chat if
so if
that.
I leave a review on the product page, for example, then that review gets like put everywhere that I want it to show. Is that, am I hearing
Yeah,
that?
you can select, because we integrate with those different platforms.
Okay.
So you can select so that it can be broadcast on those other platforms as well, which is why
Cool.
integrations are so important. And again, maybe tooting my own horn here, but I think that's why it's so important. That's why we partner with so many different tools and platforms such as BigCommerce here, because that's the way you provide value to your customers. But yeah.
That's awesome.
And do you integrate with marketplaces like Amazon, Etsy, stuff like that as well, or is that a separate thing?
We integrate with a lot of, various e-commerce platforms and a lot of different tools such as omni-channel marketing automation. I can share a link as well of our integration platform. We have more than 56 integrations. So it's going to be tough to share a whole list.
I know, right? I just want you to read it all right now. No, just joking.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
awesome, though. That's really good to know, and that makes it so much easier to collect those reviews. I feel like a lot of businesses are kind of behind on realizing how important reviews are and figuring
Yeah.
out how to get them, on all of those different places and which ones are important and stuff. So that's great.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley, for popping in here, our little
Yeah.
surprise. So, Evan, Ian, and Ashley will be speaking at the event in Charlotte, and we're excited that you'll all be there representing the best in e-commerce. And again, thank you everybody tuning in. We have some links we'll be sharing with this, and we'll have our next LinkedIn Live in 2 weeks on November 16th with Feedonomics. So we're excited to be talking to them next. And Evan and Ian, appreciate you guys joining and providing the tips for the holidays and getting us ready. It's finally here. We need to make it happen. Any closing remarks before we wrap up?
No, just thank you a lot, Beth, and thank you to the whole team, and looking forward to catching up with Evan and Ashley live in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'll share those same sentiments. Thanks, Beth. Thanks for getting this set up, and we're really excited to chat with everybody. So hopefully we see a lot of you there.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, again, I'm Beth Shero, and always be learning. See you next time.